that I can make my own decisions, that I can be the controller of my life again. And I choose to stop being a victim. I choose to stop being a blamer. I choose to become the creator of my own life.
Welcome to Better Yourself podcast with your boy Fon Christ. And today we have a special guest. Her name is Martha. We actually going to talk about being abused by actually somebody that you love, especially like, family relate. So how to overcome and how actually Martha actually dealt with the whole thing. And, she's going to talk about it on experience. And she also going to talk about how to help you to overcome, to survive, and to become a better person, to start smiling because, life is good as she is right now. So before we start, Martha, she's also she describes herself as a super confident coach. That's quite a big title. So I'm not going to say too much. I just want you to introduce yourself so the audience going to know who you are. Because I see there's a lot of title with you, so I prefer you to do it yourself.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. Hi, everyone. My name is 𝗪𝗶𝘃𝗀𝗽𝗃. I'm the super confident coach. Even that my title sounds big, but I didn't come here. It wasn't an easy journey. I was also someone in silence that was over 30 years. Been in a 19 years abusive marriage with my ex-husband, and that was tough. But I was also been bullied since the age of 6. But the hardest thing for me to admit was being sexually molested by someone I trust. But despite all of that, after 30 years, I stepped into the coaching world, and I wanted to share the message that no woman should suffer in silence. With everything that we go through, the colorful past only make us stronger. So all my experience have turned into light, and now I share that power with the people I touch and allow them to share their voice and share their experience.
Great. This is very touching. So we're just going to go back straight to it. It's a very deep topic because many people, I spoke to a lot of people, a lot of friends, many people actually being abused by people that they trust. But it's even worse when it's actually a family member, right? So it's very difficult. I don't know how to start with this, but yeah, tell me about yourself. Like, how did you do actually how did it start? Like, how old was you?
It was probably the age around 6. And I was like brought to like Chinese New Year. So you go into your relative house and you see the big boy over there. He's probably about 15 at that age when I was like only about 6. And he took me to a room and start looking at neon lighting that is across the wall on the street. And then I was touched everywhere. And at that moment, I didn't know what's going on, but something felt good about it. But I'm like, but I thought that it was just a game. I was too young to recognize what happened. And then it just happened all the time, that every single time that we go over there for family dinners and reunion, he would take me to the same spot again, looking at the neon lighting and distract me and just start touching me everywhere. I didn't know that I was being sexually molested until a lot older. When the point that I say, hey, that sort of inappropriate touching wasn't correct. And I believe that I went into a thinking of feeling ashamed, feeling that, hey, this doesn't sound like it's normal. It doesn't sound like that it was what an uncle should do to a niece. And the hardest thing was that because I didn't know what happened until an older age, I didn't know how to respond to it. So my brain literally put me into a protection mode. I tend to block out memories of things that wasn't very good to me. So I didn't have the time to look into it and reflect until I was older. And when I was older, by doing self-development work and meditation, trauma therapy, all of those things, it helped me to realize that it wasn't my fault of what happened. And the funny thing is, everything that you go through in life, no matter how difficult it is, there's always a positive learning from it. It could be something that, hey, I will never let someone do that to me again.
That's right.
Or knowing that at that moment it wasn't your fault. Having that knowledge, it gives the person control back, and that's what it did for me.
Yeah. Wow. So that's very, yeah, it's very touching, because like when he said, I can actually like picture it. It's just crazy. Like, and you was very young. How old was you again?
Probably about 6.
You was 6, right?
Mm.
So when I talk to people about this, and people always tell me like the most difficult things, as you say, you wanted to forget about everything. But when I talk to people, people always tell me like the most difficult things about when you're being abused by people, like especially like, you know, people from your family, is to actually tell to your relative, like to your parent, your father, your mother. Is very hard because people seems to not actually trust you, whatever you're saying. People don't really, I don't know if in your culture is the same, but like even like in the Black people culture, like it's just like, yeah, people don't really talk about it because people don't assume like those people can actually do this kind of thing. Or sometimes your parent can trust you, but the thing is, you don't, in your mind, you're gonna be like, oh, you're gonna feel ashamed of yourself, like you the one actually wanted to do that. So did you feel
I
the same
agree
way as
with
well?
you on that.
Yeah, go on.
I agree with you on that. And the truth is, I didn't actually went to my parents about it. I haven't. And I only started telling people when I went into the coaching world.
Yeah.
When I went to actually learn the fact that, hey, you know what? I need to be vulnerable about myself. I need to recognize inside of me what have happened in my life, because I've been blocking all my memories away. I've been blocking having that self mechanism and to tell myself everything is okay. Not until I started sharing my story to the world. Like I mentioned before, I was a woman in silence over 30 years. I'm a multi-award winning international makeup artist. I run multiple businesses in my life. So and I'm a competition judge. I'm always on stage, and I get fly all over the world to work. And that gives me a shiny mask on the outside. I become the greatest pretender. No one knows what's going on behind me. No one knows that I was in an abusive marriage. No one knows that I've been bullied at school. And no one knows that I was sexually molested. So the sexually molested part was the hardest one and the longest one to take me to be open. As you mentioned before, like in your culture, we don't talk about that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it's true. In my culture, I'm Asian.
Yeah.
So it's very tough to talk about anything sexual or things like that. And now that you mentioned, the funny thing is I didn't actually sit down with my parents and tell them about it. I just went to the first time I mentioned it was in a group therapy session where we were sharing. And I said, this is the first time I shared to anyone. And there was a bunch of guys in there as well. And I don't know where I found the courage. I just shared this experience. And after I
How old
shared
was you there?
once,
Because when you got
it
abused, you
was
was 6.
just
But how old was you when you actually shared for the first time?
43.
God, really?
Yeah.
That's
It
a
took me that long.
long time. That's a
It
long
took me that
time.
long because I blocked that memory so deeply that I didn't want it to affect my life.
But the person that
Because
did
I
it, was you
know,
pretend like, because he was so young, the person that did it, was he pretending like it never happened, or how was he with
yeah,
you?
he pretended never happened. And like we still like see each other. But I moved into Australia since the age of 11.
Yeah.
So after the years of molest, I don't see him again because I'm in Australia. And if I ever went back to Hong Kong to visit them, he would just be like an uncle. He never touched me again. So that sort of memory, it
But do you
was
feel like you
so
still have a
deep.
power over you? I mean, before you feel like before you actually confess it, like, you know, say it to go to people, do you always feel like you have like, because you always have that kind of secret, but when you see him, do you always feel like you have kind of like a power over you in terms of like,
Oh,
even if you don't do
definitely.
anything, you feel intimidated somehow?
I feel like that I want to know what happened,
Yeah.
but I was too scared to ask. That was the deal about it. And because I'm in Hong Kong for such a short time, we never really get too much about it. But I remember thinking, knowing that, oh, he's getting married, he have his own kids now and things. And it did And then those moments is what will trigger me. I was like,
Mm.
oh, he did something to me. He did something to me. And I will go into a state of shock. Okay, this happened. Okay, how do I deal with it? I don't know how to deal with it. Okay, then just push it away and bury it really, really deep so it doesn't affect me. So because I got so much other stuff in my life at that moment as well, that I don't have time to think about it. I don't have time to deal with that. I was going for abusive marriage during those time too.
Mm.
So I'm like, nah, your brain can only focus on 134 bit per seconds in filtering information. So my brain was dealing with my husband's abuse every
Oh,
single day for 19 years. So I didn't have time to think about the sexually molested time. Not until when I was 42, I think it was, um, because it was last year, I started to go back into my life and having a look at, so what happened to me? How do I become this person? Because I know I'm bitter inside.
mm.
I'm alone. I feel empty, and I feel anger. There's
Yeah.
so much anger in me. Where did that come from? Where did all that anger come from? And not until very deep soul searching, I remember I was doing something called the memory code in your body that is embedded in your DNA. So when the guy actually did that to me, he bring out a lot of memories that I forget and bury. And that was how I'm like, yeah, that did happen. Oh my God, that was crazy. And then I have to face the reality of dealing with it again.
Mm.
The feeling of being ashamed, the feeling of, I don't know what to do. Oh, okay, now that memory is out, I can't hide it anymore. What do I do with it? So I started talking to my therapist and tell her about it. And then she will say, okay, so now you're in control now. What can this person do? I used to go to hypnotherapy session who
Yeah.
use timeline therapy to help me to bring back into that moment and take control of that memory.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, is what it helped me to move on and be able to share with people.
Wow. So yeah, going back to I think your childhood must be have been like very difficult as well, because many people are talking
Mm,
about it. They always told me like the childhood, they feel like self-confidence is not really there,
mm,
and it's hard because they don't have a conversation with people and the parent. They just like hide it. I mean, for you, it's good
mm,
because you end up being successful. I feel like during your
mm,
childhood, it was hard, but you become like confident as well. So where is that
mm.
confidence come from? Is it because of you were so young and the impact wasn't as you didn't have so much information, or how come you turned out to be so
No,
confident? Like, I
the
believe you was
reason,
already confident before before you actually say it to people, right? I'm talking about before you actually let
yeah,
it out.
definitely. I was confident because I know I'm read.
Mm.
I accepted that fact. No one accepted me in school. I was in I think when I was in primary school, I have about 4 years of not having a friend to talk to because they bully me to the point that I have to sit alone every single day, every single sessions, every single recession that you go to. So I was very, very bullied, and I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell my family. I was just dealing with it myself. So I dealt with loneliness. I dealt with being different. I dealt with people that who point finger at me, and I said they can't do anything to me without me responding to it. So
Mm.
I choose not to respond. I choose to be this people pleaser. I choose to be the person that who is actually to try to be nice and hoping that one day the situation will change. And it only did when I just before I leave Hong Kong, my class teacher said, I know that there's bullying going on in this class. I know that that girl may have done something or she haven't even done anything.
Mm.
But you guys are moving towards high school now. It is
Mm.
the last few months of your primary school year. Isn't it time to put down all the walls and barriers that
Mm.
you have done? And then because I didn't do any harm to people. I didn't fight back. I didn't go and start bullying other kids. I didn't go and actually be violent towards other people. And then people and some of the guys starting to accept me and say, hey, she's actually not too bad. Like, she's not as bad as what those ladies, like, the girl group talk about.
Yeah.
So let's be friends with her. And I did. And I hardly have any female friends. I only have guy friends because I'm this really don't care or like smiling person that is there. And that taught me one thing from a very young age, that I need to be kind. I need
Yeah.
to be someone who doesn't have violence. So that took me for all the way until went to Australia. And I still remember the first school that I went to, one of the first time that I met with multiple people. Couldn't speak a lot of English, very limited speaking ability. And then I remember when I was trying to eat lunch, and she said, "Oh, these girls eat so slow. She eat like a cow." And I'm like, huh? Okay, I eat like a cow. And that hurt me a lot.
Yeah.
And then I started to learn to eat quicker. It was one of my things that, okay, people tell me that I'm slow, then I shouldn't be slow. So then it developed the things that I work very quick. Everything is quick. And that is where I come from, because I was told that being slow was like a cow and it wasn't a good thing. And I was only at that school for 1 year before I moved into the second school. And that was another bullying experience, because I was a lot easier to make friends with male friends than female friends. I don't like bitchy stuff. I'm not very girly type. And then, of course, a nice guy will have a jealous girlfriend. And then I got bullied out of that school again.
Oh.
And my third school, in 1 year, I have to change 3 different schools. It's because of bullying. And it was tough. It was really tough. As a young kid, you don't know what to do. But the one thing I always know is, you know what? I haven't done any harm to any other people. What they choose to think is not something I can control. I could be sad about it, or I can put on a brave face. And that's what I choose to do at that time. I put on a brave face. So I never talk about my experience as traumatizing or horrible, because that is a term that I will go down the hill. It doesn't give me any encouragement. It doesn't give me any return on investment. So I choose to talk about my life as a colorful past, as something that I have learned from. So I learned not to do a certain thing instead of, oh my God, I fail at everything. And that's how I wake up every single day, instead of thinking myself as a failure, as someone that who been used, someone that who have been bullied and abused. I say, no, I choose to be an inspiration. I choose to help other people. I choose to be the light instead of the dark.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. That's very, it's very deep what you're actually saying, knowing like starting when he was younger, growing up, dealing with everything. And then on the top of that, you have the bully part, you have being abused, relationship as well. But do you think it's like, even the relationship, do your ex, partner, did he know about your abuse as a child?
I did know about it. I did talk about him about bullying and stuff, but I was very young. I met him for 3 months while I was holidaying in Hong Kong, and then I got married. Within 3 months, we were married. I was 21. So I was very, very young. And because of all my bullying in my life, I was craving for love. I was craving
That's
for
another thing I
attention.
realized as well. People actually, you're looking for, you cannot, you want that security, that thing that you missed, and
Exactly. So I was craving for companionship that I can tell everything to. So I found him and I was just holding on to him, and he was my first boyfriend that I ever been with. And we was married for 19 years. Doesn't matter what my treatment is, because I didn't know anything better at that time. I
19
didn't know I
years.
can ask for help. 19 years. I was in
Whoa.
an abusive marriage for 19 years. It was a long time.
Oh,
It
okay.
was a long time.
That's a very long time. So coming back to when you actually say everything, like you went to that place, therapy place, and you actually express yourself, you say everything. After that, how did you feel?
It was my trauma therapist who actually encouraged me to become a consultant or a coach, because she said that you have such a rich story behind you. You overcome everything in your life, and you should be able to use your experience to go and inspire other people. And it was because of her that I found my power back. I used to say, love means pain. Love is pain. Love must go through pain first before you will find happiness. Because I thought all the love from my parents, all the love from my friends, all the love from my partner, it must be painful first before I see light. That was what I say to her. Not until she made me realize, guess what? I'm the one who gave that power away. Because one of my ex-boyfriend, after my abusive marriage, I met this amazing guy, and he was my knight in shining armor, everything that my ex-husband wasn't. And I put in so much hope into him. And then when he left, I lost my light, my hope, and my most valuable treasure, my smile. I couldn't smile for 3 months. I was in such a bad state that I didn't even know what smile was. And because, again, I forgot, I blocked it. I blocked it, so much emotion. I kept so much things inside. And that's why going through trauma therapy and hypnotherapy was the best thing I ever done. It helped me to release things in my subconscious mind that I didn't realize, because I blocked it so deeply that only hypnotherapy have brought all of those things out in a safe, controlled environment. So I wouldn't go crazy and start like jumping off a building or anything like that. It makes me feel safe into the point that I can deal with the situation. One of the main thing about hypnotherapy is it helps you to gain power back into that moment when you were weak. And I realized that I was the person who gave the power away. I was the person that who let the other person hurt me, that who are more powerful than I am. So once I realized that, I keep repeating myself one sentence, and it's not easy. Every single time I say it, my heart hurts a bit because it makes me remember what happened. So I said to myself, I am more powerful than the person that hurt me. I'm taking that power away. I'm taking that power back from them. So I am more powerful than the people who hurt me. And that simple sentence that I repeated again and again and again, I don't know how many times in my head. And that helped me to gain power and control back into me. And the moment that I wake up, like there was an incident where my ex-husband tried to blame me for my cat's death.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, it was really bad. I haven't spoken to him for 2 years. He all of a sudden sent me a text message after my cat died. And I was grieving for my cat that was for 16 years because I don't have kids. She was the only thing I had. And when she died, I really went into another depression and grief and all of the pain. And he sent me a text message calling me every name under the sun and telling me that her death is my fault. Everything that you can name off from someone that who was in grieving, and you get told all the things that you don't want to hear. So I plunged into another depression, not as bad as before. And that's what is something that I want to let people know. We often are afraid of what happened, it happens again. The truth is, our body can actually develop a defense mechanism. Even it still feel like terrible. It still feel terrible when those triggers are hit, but it won't hurt you as much as the first time or the second time when it happened. Every single hurt that you have, it makes you stronger on the inside without you even realizing it. So don't be afraid for triggers to actually come up, because you will, every time that those triggers comes up, you will find a way to learn how to deal with it. And I must admit that I was in another depression for about 3 months. I was functioning, I was coaching. Anything about business, no problem, talk to me. Anything about emotion, please do not talk to me, because I would have tease, I would have all of that coming up. And it took me 3 months until I went to do my NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. Until I learned that, it helped me realize one thing, that I'm in control of everything that happened. I'm not in control of what my past is. I'm not in control of the future yet. But what I'm in control is this current moment that I have. This next second that I have is what I'm in control. A lot of people use manifest as a dream, I manifest that I'm going to have $1 million. Keep manifesting. And I have nothing against manifest. As long as you have a plan to go into achieving that manifest. So don't turn manifest into a dream. You must turn manifest into a step-by-step plan of how am I going to get there? And what do I need to do to go and to get there? So if I wanted to become not just a confident coach, but a super confident coach, I need to tell myself, what do I need to get to that stage? So I realized that I need to be unconsciously and consciously competent in my confidence. That so is unshakable. No matter what other people are saying, it won't shake me anymore. And it doesn't happen overnight. And a lot of people who have similar experience as me, who are listening right now, you don't need to whip out your clothes and tell people everything. You can keep your underwears on and start telling people one piece by piece. It's just about taking that 3mm shift, that bunny step that you start taking, that leap of faith that you have back in humanity. That's all you're starting to have to do. And that's what I did to gain my confidence, to give me motivation, to give me this really strong intention of why I'm getting up in the morning every single day. I did get asked by one of my students, what do you say to yourself every single morning? How do you set your morning intention? I said, I don't, because I do it at night. I know that when I get up, it's another beautiful day. I know when I get up, no matter what happened the last 24 hours, I'll be able to control it and take my control back. All I have to do is to tell myself before I went to bed that I'm in control of what's going to happen in that next second.
Wow. That's I think this is one of the most powerful conversation I could have with somebody, because I don't mind listening to you all day, because it's very touching, because the good thing about you, and that's the reason why that woman said that, because you know how to I don't know, your story, you know how to put it together and to make everybody relate to that, to know people really feel sorry for you. I mean, it's not like I don't feel sorry. Of course I feel sorry for whatever happened in your life, but you know how to put it together to the point of making everybody find themselves into that, not just the people that have who are being sexually abused or any type of abuse by the family member or loved one. Also people haven't been abused, but they can still find themselves into your journey when it comes to becoming a better person, inspiration, so many things, saying those words to make you feel strong, to just I think it's powerful. That's the reason why I think that woman say, that person say to you, you should become like a coach and help other people, because I can actually feel it even by what you're actually saying. So I'm glad that you actually find your path and you're actually living for your passion, for your that's what you're here for. And that's very, very important, to actually to stand for, to know your purpose, to live for your purpose. I think that's what I believe you live for your purpose. So coming back to to that again, so you say everything and you decide to move on and actually help other people, to go through the same journey as well. But for people who are struggling today, I know for you, everybody have their own process. For people who are struggling today, what do you think is the first step that they must do for those kind of people? Ask who?
Ask
the person.
All you have to do is start asking, because I didn't know there was help out there. I didn't know that I
ask
could
for
talk
help,
to
you mean?
people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All you have to do is start asking for help, asking for, hey, something happened to me. Can I ask you a question? This happened to me. What do I do with it? Because I have no ideas. I have no clue. And I was so ashamed to ask for help. Remember what I said about me being a very great pretender? That I pretend that everything was okay in my life. I pretend that I was happy. And it was my birthday about a month ago. And I saw the photos that what I've been post up on Facebook for the last 10 years before I met my current partner. All I post up was photo of my Louis Vuitton bag, my flowers, all the material things, the fine dining I was eating, all the material things that to let people think I was happy, to let people think I was living a good life. And I wasn't living a bad life, but I was not happy. I was empty and rotten inside. So I pretended that way. And the last 2 years, ever since I have been with my new partner, all I put is the picture of me smiling and thanking the world, showing that gratitude. And I see that is such a change in me, that from someone who was pretending to be happy to someone that who are truly happy and contained with myself. And I actually make a song to my partner. He doesn't know that, so this is the first place I will do it. I actually got into a program and actually make a song to him to to wish him happy birthday, but to also thank him for allowing me to find my sense of belonging next to him. A lot of people, when they talk about sense of belonging, is, oh, I belong to someone. So when they are loving me, then that's my thing. If they don't talk to me, all my insecurity comes up. So that's the difference. I find my sense of belonging next to him. I find me when I'm with him. That's the major difference, and that's what the song was about. I'm grateful for him to hold that space for me, to give me that encouragement, that support. And he's the one who supported me to become a coach too. So he was the second person who encouraged me to do that.
So are you talking about the one that abused you?
No, my new partner.
Oh,
my
sorry.
Partner.
That's how I was getting confused. I was like, well,
yeah, no. Thank you for clarifying that. No.
Just to be
it's
clear,
my new
that's
partner
not the one that abused her. The new power.
No. I haven't talked to him for very long.
Are you guys still together, right?
Yeah, we are going strong, which is wonderful. Like, you can see my smile as soon as that
I just want to give a good
him.
shout out to him, and thank you for actually helping her to become a better person, because I want to give the credit to the right person, because I was getting confused. I'm like,
yeah, his name is Malcolm.
The other one?
He's
Malcolm.
amazing.
I got a friend named Malcolm as well, so he's an easy name for me to
remember. He's amazing.
Malcolm, thank you for being on her life, and you are such a lucky man as well. So he actually helped you to become a better person. He helped you to your journey.
Oh, he did.
And so you say, like, the first things to do for people, because I know many people are listening to this, they're saying people are actually being abused as well, and they kind of like trying to find their way. So what you're saying is they have to make sure that they ask for help.
Yeah.
Do you think
all you have to do is ask?
What about if you feel like, do you think you can actually heal without really asking for help, without having a conversation, without letting this out? Do you think do you think you can actually just say, you know what, it happened to my past, like, is what it is, I'm just gonna live my life? Or do you think like you must, if you don't do that,
you must ask for help?
You must actually,
you must ask for help.
Okay.
Yeah, without asking for help.
Yeah.
What happened is, it's not that you can't. You tend to put a band-aid on it. What a lot of people do when they go through trauma or hurt, they put a band-aid on it and pretend everything is okay. And that's what I did for over 30 years. I put a band-aid on and say, yeah, that's fine. It's not bleeding. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, just leave it. It will heal itself. But the problem is, it doesn't heal itself. It's going to be a wound that is keep leaking blood. It will be a wound that will hurt you all the time. But when you get help, ask for professional help. Talk to someone you can trust. Talk to a coach. Talk to you. Talk to me. Anyone that is actually been through that and done that. What they do is they help you to rip open that band-aid and stare at the wound, not with fear, but with control. Get that control back, so that wound will then begin to heal. Without healing that wound, you will constantly go back into triggers. It could be a boyfriend not returning your texts, and then you're like, oh my God, he's cheating again. Because again, can you just hear what I say? He's cheating again. We use our past experience onto our future a lot and predict what will be happening. It's because we have a wound there that we just put a band-aid on, and we haven't healed it. But asking for help helps you to heal that wound. It helps you to become stronger. So like now that I'm looking at the wound that I have, like when we first started this conversation, can I ask you anything? Yes, you can. Are you happy to share anything? Yes, I am. Because now I can look at that wound, that band-aid is off. And I can look at the wound, it's no longer bleeding. It's healed. So I look at it, I wear my scarf like a badge to show how powerful I am. I don't wear it as a hurt. when it keep leaking blood and I cried about it. That is the difference of when you can ask for professional help, when you can ask for people that who you can trust, not just as a friend. I understand that we always like to go to our friends and family for help first. The problem is your friends and family may not know how to deal with the situation because they may not been into there. They haven't got their training into how to deal with difficult situation like that.
Yeah.
So go to a counselor. Go into a lifeline, like call those lifelines that who are, if you're being abused at home, call the family domestic hotline. Call those people to reach out to a professional. That is when they will give you the honest, no bias opinion. As your friend, as your family member, because they love you so much, they may actually inject their personal perception into you. One of the things about us becoming a coach is we don't have any perception. We don't have our personal judgment. We don't put our perception onto our client when we're looking at a situation. We let the client lead out whatever they wanted to say because the answer is always within.
I just want to ask you one question, right? Because you actually make me think about other things. Let's say you're in a position where you are the one not abusing somebody, because sometimes we do hurt people, right?
Yeah.
You hurt somebody, you feel like you hurt the person and you kind of like want to fix yourself, but knowing the person's already hurt, but the person trusts you. In that process, do you think you should, is it enough to just change, honestly change, and have a conversation with the person? Or do you feel like maybe you should go and see somebody, sitting down with the person and then heal at the same time? Do you think that's the
I
best
would
way to do
probably,
that?
yeah, I would take the
do you
second
think,
option.
or do you think it's possible to just confess, talk to the person honestly, and then just, yeah, change, honestly change as well? But
How easy to change a habit? Let me ask you that question. How easy to change a habit?
it's not easy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Same thing. The person who are used to hurting you, he doesn't even know, or she doesn't even know they're hurting you, because for them, it's a habit. So you're expecting someone to actually change like that just because you've been honest and open to them? That won't happen. That's the truth. Because just like I said, how easy is for you to change a habit? If it's not easy for you to change a habit, how do you think other people will react? Why don't we go and to talk to a professional or someone that who train into that area? Because it's all the art of language as well. When we actually say things, if we choose the different language, but the same meaning, it receives differently. So when you talk to a professional, so when you can feel that hurt, you can express it without anger. You can express it without blame, but you can express it with reality, authenticity. That is the difference. Because confronting the people who hurt you is an ultimate thing. I did an open letter to my ex-husband on one of our podcasts, and that was the most raw thing I ever had to do. It was everything that I have to say to him, what I have said left. And it was so empowering. I don't know if he would ever see that letter or listen to that podcast. And I don't really care, because what I'm doing is releasing what I have inside. All that shame, all that guilt, all that hurt, all that fear of I have in him. So there is a way to do things. And confronting the other person is very, very scary. And most of the time, what do we do when we're scared? We put in an armor. We put in a shell. So we go in with a shell, trying to protect ourselves by attacking the other people. So that's not the right way to do things, because what people do when they get attacked, they fight back.
So are you talking like you are like, do you do like a couple, like, I don't know if it's therapy, like,
yeah.
Do you do couple therapy as well?
I do sessions for people individually. If they wanted to have a couple session, we can definitely do that as well, because I look after the confidence of people in the area of life, relationship, and business. So
Good.
I do 3 different areas for people, because that's what I've been through in my life. I know a lot of coaches that they say, oh, you must have one niche, you must do something. My niche is confidence. So where confidence actually comes in, I can go and help, because I experienced traumatic life situation, which I call it colorful life. My relationship for 19 years being abused, and I still was able to build a 6-figure business from doing that.
Yeah.
And then for my business wise, I now help other coaches to become a better coach. So this is who I am now in my life, that I'm so grateful for my journey of what it has come. And you're why I actually really thank Malcolm. Before, I used to say I do not want to live more than 60 years old, because my life has been so rich that I don't want to live more than 60 years old. That was the reason why I left my ex-husband on my 40th birthday, that I make that decision and say, I only got 20 years left in my life. I don't want to be unhappy anymore. All I want is to be happy and find the joy of my life. So I get out of that marriage on my 40th birthday. That was the big decision I made. And then when I met Malcolm, he let me see another world that I never imagined it could happen. The love and connection that we have. He's a Navy, so he's not here all the time. Like currently he's on a 4.5 months deployment. But it doesn't make me feel that I'm not close to him. It doesn't make me feel that he's not looking after me. It never actually come up in my head that, oh, I'm insecure. What the hell is he doing over there? I don't have that thinking. It's because I trust him and he trusts me. And we have that bond together now, that he knows that I'm not going to cheat on him. And I knows that he has the respect not to cheat on me as well. So building up that respect with your partner, controlling our own insecurity, that is what I teach people in the area of relationship. Even for ourselves, we have a lot of insecurity. That's normal because we have emotion. We are humans. Okay? It's like, oh, he didn't return my call. Oh, did he still love me or not? Like, of course that sort of thing come to your mind. Isn't it? Like, when you haven't heard him for 3 days, like, because he's a Navy, he's in the sea, and he has no connection. So it's like, I couldn't hear from him for 3 days. So what would normal woman do? Oh my God, he doesn't love me anymore. He must be talking to another woman or something like that. No, I didn't do that. I actually sent him an email after not hearing from him for 3 days, because I know sometimes when they do military exercise, he can't go onto his phone. So I sent him an email instead and said, baby, I miss you. I support you. I respect you. And I know what you're doing is important to you. So I believe in you. Have an amazing day. That's what I said. I didn't attack him. I hold the space for him. It is because of my action that I give him the space when he needed. I give him the love and care and support. And the most importantly for a guy is respect. I give him the respect as a man. So he can do everything. He doesn't have to report to me. Okay, he doesn't report, hey, I'm eating cheese and mac this afternoon. I don't need that sort of thing. I would love to know because I'm bored, but I don't need that sort of thing. And if he does it, it makes me feel very sweet, amazing. So I put the focus not on, he's not here, he didn't actually stay with me. I put the focus onto all the sweet things that I can think about, all the encouragement that I can give him. Everything there, it just makes us melt really well. And it really helps that he's also a coach. It really helps that he's also an NLP prac. So we all understand in the self-development area, when you can find someone who truly understands you, is such a goal. And it doesn't surprise me when we're first going out together, when we're going into shops, people already ask us, are you guys married? I said, no, I haven't got my ring yet. I always have that asked to us. It's because the energy that we have with each other are so close. We understand each other so well, and we can accept each other as it is. Doesn't mean that I don't chuck a fuss at him. Doesn't mean that we don't have fights. But we know when we have a fight, we don't go into personal attack mode. We go into the situation. We talk about the situation, not on the other thing. And I caught him up all the time. I would say, baby, like, you haven't talked to me like in this way, and I feel like that. I don't know. Are you under stress? So please express it to me. And he will say, yeah, I'm under a lot of stress. Got it, baby. I need to know how much understanding I can have, that I need to have, so I can help you into giving you the support you need. It's all about understanding. It's
I just
really
want to
cool,
say,
our
like,
relationship.
I think this is the most one of the most, to not say the most powerful podcast I ever have. I feel like
Oh.
it's funny because yeah, I think that's the beauty of doing the podcast, because I talk to a lot of people, but I only like talking to people that have experience in whatever they're saying. The fact, coming to that subject, you have so much experience, and you actually, it just like, it's moving. Is like, I have a lot of things coming in my mind right now. It's like, I just want to thank you for that. Like, you are really blessed and gifted for, I think it was going to be a waste of life if you didn't use your gift to share with the world, because now I think you're actually helping a lot of people by coaching, by doing the podcast, and directly you helping a lot of people as well, and that's like, I think like you should be proud of it. I just want to say to you that
I am very, very
you should
proud.
be
And I
proud of
wanted
it,
to
and you
say
should know
to
that.
people,
Yeah.
even that when you are building up a new business, when you're starting to gain your first back, they will have people that who look down on you. And
Yeah.
I'm honest. I know that my story is beautiful. I know that I'm a very powerful and strong person. And guess what? I have been into 2 podcasts that I was treated like a second-class citizen. There was one interview that I was doing. She's like, oh, like, your story is good and things like that. But there's something about that I don't like, really know that if we go with the flow. And I'm like, it's okay. I respect you. It is your podcast. I got my story to share. I don't
But the
know it's
person
powerful
says
or
she
not.
prefer when you go for a
Yeah, it was just weird. Like, you will find people who think that you are not qualified enough, who will think that you are not good enough. And I told her that, yeah, I've been coaching for 14 months. And then she's like, oh, then I can't call you an expert. I'm like, but I make 6 figures. How many coaches can make 6 figures within 12 months running their business? You tell me. So it's not about the money I make as well. So, but don't judge me because of the years of experience I have in the coaching. I've been living a human life for 43 years. So what
Yeah.
makes me an expert? It's my life. It's
Talk
not
to me.
what you give me.
Yeah,
So don't let anyone put you down.
what people don't understand is sometimes the experience actually is better than whatever learning certificate or whatever that you have, like, you know what I mean? Because especially when you come to life coaching, everything that you're doing, I believe your own experience actually is the main thing, like, it's the main thing, because like now you're
Exactly.
talking with your heart. I can actually, like, it's just, I can tell like whatever you're saying is true because you know about it. And when you have a conversation with people can relate because it's natural. It's not just telling like a story, something like you feel, you have in your spirit, in your soul, in your body. That's the reason why people can actually relate. So whatever that people say, the reason why people react that way sometimes is because of their own insecurity. It actually can make people react that way, because when you talk, you say so much truth in a smooth way. People, if they can find themselves in a picture, but like maybe in a bad picture, in the bad side of the picture, and they can get a little bit defensive as well. That's why you can see people react same time a little bit aggressive. I'm sure you are used to it when you have a conversation with people, especially when you talk about certain topics. People always trying to be naturally a little bit defensive. It's just because of the raw way of saying things, and
I agree with you. And I always say one sentence that it's their insecurity, not mine.
Yeah, people insecurity can actually make them react in certain ways. So
I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah, so I got lost, but there's so much thing. So what I can remember from this conversation is you're actually telling people that being to this kind of abuse, you must, or any type of abuse, you must see somebody who's qualified for that, somebody actually made for that. You have to talk to somebody because you cannot just keep it for yourself, because even if you feel like, even if you keep it for yourself, that means you're still hiding something. You're gonna have is like a rock you actually have on your chest. So you still have to talk to somebody if you want to heal. And do you think it's important to talk to let's say you've been abused by, like yourself, yours was like your uncle. Do you think it's really important to say to family, like your dad, your mom, like to people close to them?
I find that it's actually very hard to talk to family.
So they can actually know like you did it in that sense? Or is it more like
what
you have to be
benefit
more like
would have been?
Oh yeah, true. But yeah,
that would be what, like,
because you don't want to have
for
like
someone
a
that is
self-shame or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, I find that it's a lot easier to talk to a stranger than talking to family members because you don't need to see them every single day. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Because like
I
when you're
trust a
faced with the
stranger.
situation,
I always say to one of my friends, I used to tell to her, like, I prefer to talk to stranger because
yeah,
I trust more stranger than a family member, because if a family member,
yeah,
you're gonna see them all the time and they're gonna pretend that they
yeah,
like you and everything. I love
exactly.
strangers.
It's a lot easier, and we love them differently, put it that way. Like we love our family, we have our respect for our family. I love my family, so even no matter what happened in my family, I still love them very, very dearly. But the thing is, when you're talking about something that hurt you, something that is so deep and raw inside, your family member may not understand it, not because they don't love you, it's because they don't have the professional training to deal with the emotion that you have.
Yeah, that's right.
They could like it sounds like good as like, oh my god, yeah, really, like just like my brother. He knows what happened to me with my ex-husband. And then he's like, oh, I'm gonna kill him and things like that. Of course, because you're trying to protect me. But it doesn't do anything to me if you kill him.
Yeah,
Like
it's not gonna
physically,
heal.
like think about it. You need to go to the jail and everything, and then I lose a brother. Like, why? He
Mm.
doesn't deserve that treatment. It's because you are better than him. Like he doesn't deserve the care, the anger that you have towards him.
Yeah,
He doesn't deserve that. So why don't I talk to a professional or someone that is stranger that doesn't have judgment? Because judgment is a very big thing. We are always so scared of how other people will see us. It's like that's why I was in silence for 30 years because I
mm.
was scared. I have this beautiful entrepreneur look on the other side of me that I'm famous. I'm well known in the industry. I'm well known by people. I was scared the shit out of telling people what would happen to me, like what happened to me. I was very scared to share. So if by talking to a stranger, you actually feel like that if I don't like that person, I don't have to see her again.
Yeah,
That's actually the benefit of it. We have a protection against I got a choice not to see them again. But with my family member, if they say that, oh, it must be your fault. Did you wear a dress that is too short? Like they could be saying something like that, and that will make you think, oh my god, now is my problem that I didn't dress appropriately. What is appropriate and what is not appropriate?
mm.
There's all this reason for it, but other people may use their perception on you, and a trained professional will not. And be very careful when you find your trained professional because there's a lot of coaches out there. There's a lot of people that still have so much hurt and pain, and they're trying to get through this thing and they wanted to become a coach. I have seen so many people like that.
Mm.
They haven't even solved their own problem, but then they wanted to coach other people. And I can see it as a financial benefit. I can see a lot of that. But the main thing is you really can't help other people until you go through that process first. Because you will then use your own biased opinion, you will use your perception and not be able to lose something that is very important. When we are coaching people, there's two sentences that I always make sure that is in my mind. I respect the other people model of the world. Their belief is their belief. Their value is their value. I
Mm.
do not have the disrespect for anyone. Second sentence is, am I caring or am I controlling? Because care and control is a very fine line. Just like a mom, eat this, it's very good. Have this, it's very nice. Have this because I told you so, and it's very, very good and very, very nice. What did I become? I become controlling. I was controlling the other person's will. And as we know, human, we hate to be controlled. Who likes to be controlled? No one likes to be controlled. We like to be persuaded into, but we don't like to be controlled. So as a coach, we have to be very, very careful about our care and our control and where the respect comes in. So once you find a coach that will completely understand that, that is what will make a difference because there's no more bias, there's no more perception. You weren't told to do things. A coach is someone to shine a light into you so you can find all the answers from within. It's not like that we don't have our skill. We use our skill to help you to find that light from within because that's the answer you've been always waiting for. It's not me to tell you what to do. I'm here to guide you to find the answer. And that's what a coach is. And that's what I wanted to help. Like I said, everyone, all they have to do is ask for help. And
Mm.
I want to offer that help to your audience. I don't know if you do that sort of thing. If
Yeah,
you are happy, I'm
of
happy to
course.
offer my empowerment session to anyone that who mentions your name. Is like, I heard his podcast and I wanted to come in and ask for help. Please come in to me. I will give you your first empowerment session for free. I'm not here to sell you anything. I just want to give the choice to people who need help to ask for professional help. I'm open in the process of even opening my nonprofit organization, that I wanted to help other women who were suffering in silence, who get the help from a coach, that who are trained by me, who are professional, who actually know what they're doing, to help you with your life situation. That's what I wanted to give back to the community, because there was a moment that I couldn't even afford food.
Yeah.
There was a moment that my ex-husband took everything off me, including my car, including all the money that I hide under 7 boxes inside a bag. He was still able to find it. So I was left with almost nothing when I stepped out of my marriage. But I was able to make my life come back. Not because that I am smarter than anyone, not because that I know more than anyone. It's because that I know my life is in my hand now, that I'm finally free, that I can make my own decisions, that I can be the controller of my life again. And I choose to stop being a victim. I choose to stop being a blamer. I choose to become the creator of my own life, using what I have and what I can learn. And universe is a very funny thing. It will always bring you what you ask for. So stop asking for things that you don't want. I'm not pretty enough. I don't matter. I'm not important. I'm insecure. Stop telling yourself all those BS, your belief system, the other bullshit that you wanted to talk about, whatever you want to call it. I call it BS, the belief system. Stop telling yourself those things that you don't want. You want people to love you more? Great. I love myself. I have people who respect me. You want a higher pay job? I'm respected by my peers. I'm appreciated by my work. As soon as you keep telling yourselves that, you're starting to hold the key of happiness to your life instead of holding the key of sadness. Because when you hold your key of sadness, everything becomes sad.
Yeah.
When you hold the key of happiness, every door becomes a light. You are in control of that. No one else can take that power from you until you give it away. But it's so painful. It's so hurtful. Yes, I know. And I'm sorry that you have to go through that. But now, in this current moment, you are in control. What do you choose to do? And the choice is up to you.
Man, this is, I don't know. I don't know if this is a podcast or this is like a therapy session, because like I think it's a between. This is very, I'm happy though. I'm very happy. I don't know what to say. I'm just happy that, I'm happy that we have this conversation, like I'm glad. I'm really glad. I don't know what to say.
I'm
and
grateful
I'm sure,
for the
like,
chance to be here.
I'm sure like the people that actually listen to this episode, I'm sure they're gonna feel the same thing as well. As I say, if you guys want to get in touch with Martha, what she's doing, she's actually offering first session for free. Make sure you just mention my name or my podcast. You can say Funkras or you can say Better Yourself Podcast. You send her the message. You say you've been listening to my episode. You listen to the podcast on Better Yourself Podcast, and she actually gonna offer you a free session of self-help. Whatever you want, like relationship, your personal life. If you've been abused, anything that you want, she's very like, you listen to it yourself. I don't even have to say myself, trying to, promote her. Like, don't be shy. As she say, everybody need help. If you need help, don't be shy. Nobody gonna know. Everything is doing online. You don't know her. You're gonna talk to her 1-2 times, and that's it. And yeah, you're gonna help yourself. Like, please, 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 if like you are being touched by this podcast, don't actually retain yourself. Just make sure, send her a message. She's gonna help you out. If you are shy, you can't even do like just without a video. You're just gonna talk. And please do that. Please do that.
No problem.
Are you working on something right now? Any other project that you're
I am working on my 6th book. That one is coming up soon. But if anyone needs some inspiration, I'm happy to give you a link in your show notes to download one of my books. So they can have a way of contacting me as well. So if anyone wanted to contact me, you can find me on Google. Just search Super Confident Coach or 𝗪𝗏. My name will come out.
Now the name makes sense actually. Now actually I'm actually proud to call you that name. I feel like that name is not heavy enough. You need to add more.
Yeah, it took me about 3 months to actually earn it. I'm not kidding. It took me about 3 months.
You need a lot of confidence to actually, to call yourself that name, like, Super Confident Coach. That's like very good, and then you deserve to have that name. And before we wrap it up, I don't want to take too much of your time. Last thing that you want to say to people, actually, because I know like your journey is so long and there's so many things that happen in between. As you say, the person have to talk to somebody, but I think one of the biggest things as well, I think there's something that we haven't mentioned. It was forgiveness. Do you think during the process, forgiveness is it a must? I mean, I'm talking about a person that actually abused you.
I agree with you. Forgiveness, the first forgiveness we give is actually to ourselves.
Yeah.
The second forgiveness is to the person that who hurt you. Because as soon as you can forgive yourself, you won't feel guilty anymore. You won't feel the fear anymore. When you forgive the other person, you control that power. You are taking the power back into you. So have forgiveness for yourself and have forgiveness on the other person. Because what is better in return on investment? I'm a businesswoman. So what is the return on investment of being in angry, being in sad, being in pain? Doesn't have any return on investment beside the comfort of knowing what pain feels like. No, I refuse to do that. I want to have a better return on investment. I want to wake up every morning smiling, not crying. I want to go to bed, be able to fall asleep immediately instead of dreaming for hours. So I choose forgiveness. I choose to take that power back. And I believe everyone can do that.
Yeah, everybody can do that. Everybody can actually take the power back, because at the end of the day, everybody deserves to be happy. Everybody deserves to have a better life. No matter if you are a victim, if you hurt other people or you've been hurt, there's always a chance, because sometimes people feel guilty because they did a lot of wrong things. But I believe, based on what you're saying, I think as long as you recognize whatever you've been doing and you want to better yourself and you want to, heal yourself and help other people as well, just give yourself a chance. Make sure you talk to the right people as well. So what you need to remember from this is make sure you go and talk to somebody. Forgiveness is one of the key, and live your life and live for your purpose and be happy. All right. And then that's how you're going to have self-confidence. So thank you for today again. Anything you want to say before you say goodbye? And so I say that one more time, but like, I feel like I don't want to let you go, but I have to. Just for the audience, anything that you want to say, and then we actually wrap it up.
Always ask for help. Reach out if you need. I'm here for you. And remember, you don't need to be perfect to be confident.
Good. That's it. Man, I'm not going to add anything else. All right. So thank you again for having you today. Anybody want to get in touch, make sure I'm going to put the link there. And thank you again. I hope I'm going to record another episode with you, actually. And
Oh, please invite me back anytime.
I haven't talked so much about your podcast. Your podcast is more about...
Oh, I only have a Facebook Live presentation at the moment. I may do a broadcast later. I'll see how I go with time. It's mainly the time is the essence.
You don't have enough time. I think, you being on other people's podcast is already good. I think you should do your own podcast sometime as well. Even if it's
I'll see how it goes.
Some idea, just put it out there. Thank you again for having you today, and see you next time.